Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Tales from the Bargain Bin. I'm Bill, and tonight we have a very special guest with us today. He's a regular on the show. He's on nearly all of them at this point. The one and only Mr. Bobby Tucker. What's going on, man?
Good evening. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good evening. So tonight we're dipping back into the Disney well, Bobby. We're going back to Disney.
Yes.
Why are we doing this? Remind me. Probably because I suggested it. We're talking about Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, made by Capcom, released in North America in 1990. This is a late NES game.
Huh.
This is a year away from the Super Nintendo, sir.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah. This is late in the life cycle. According to the box, you can save $5. Let me zoom in on this, actually. Save $5 when you purchase this game, but then it's all pixelated out. So evidently you can save $5 on something if you buy this game. So
The
Bobby,
tickets to Disneyland?
I doubt it.
Oh.
$5 off of tickets to Disneyland will barely get you half a soda. That's not gonna not gonna do much for you.
Get a free churro.
Free churro? No.
Oh.
They won't bludgeon you to death as you attempt to pay with your coupon. Yes. So Bobby, how did we acquire this game?
My recollection is that I wanted it for some reason. I think this is actually mine. I don't remember why. I might have seen it in Nintendo Power in a little blip, and I said, Mickey Mouse. I like Mickey Mouse. And I think even you try to explain to me, like, you don't play as Mickey Mouse. You play as a guy with a hat, but you're Mickey's friend. So
yes.
And I was like, no, Mickey, like, if this was released in 1990, we probably had it in our possession around maybe 92 or so. My point being, I was either 6 or 7. So you couldn't talk logic into me. I just thought, oh, it looks like fun. I want to play it. There was like this, and there was also I think there was like a Micro Machines game that caught my eye that got really bad reviews, but I like Micro Machines. I still wanted to play it, but I never got it.
We never got the Micro Machines game.
No.
You were a huge Micro Machines guy.
Yeah, definitely.
You were big in that.
Yeah.
that
But
never happened. But this
I
happened.
think I got this for my birthday, I'm pretty sure, and I think I wanted it. I think I asked for it. And yep, I played this game a lot because it was mine. I think that's why I played it. And I legitimately liked it. I thought it was fun, so it was a real trip playing it just now. I played it for the last hour before recording this. I got 4 of the 6 keys, so I was pretty close to finishing it in an hour.
Nice.
I just had to finish the 2 like platforming stages, which are like the ghost house and the pirate level. But the rest I did, and I did all the trivia questions, which I can't believe as a kid. I think I just guessed as a kid. I don't think I learned anything about Disney. And that's like my first question is like, are you supposed to know these answers? Or are you supposed to was it in the manual, or like, I was expecting to like learn things about Disney as I play the games, and I didn't. There's no. You're just supposed to know them fresh.
Yeah. Well,
ask
the
your
thing
parents.
Ask your parents, right? Or do what I did, was just go online and look at it. Like I'm a grown ass man in year 2023 game.
Well,
I don't
not
need to.
Not in 1993 though. That's my.
No.
I thought as a kid, like I don't know.
No.
About 1940s Disney. Like they ask some old questions. Like, but I remember just kind of guessing. And eventually, if you play it enough, like you start remembering the answers. I guess that was their thought process, but I don't know.
Well, I'm cruising through the manual here, and there's no mention of any of the trivia that's in this game. So you really are supposed to know what was Winnie the Pooh named in or what was Mickey Mouse's name in Sweden. You're supposed to know that. You're supposed to know that information.
Then my theory is that the Japanese gentleman who designed it had 5 levels, and he needed to shoehorn a 6th key to make it more of a game. But he didn't have enough time to program another mini game, or room on the cartridge.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's where this game it's also rife with grammar issues.
Oh boy, is it?
That's why I first started playing this. I didn't realize, like, I just assumed Disney, it was an American title. I didn't even notice it was Capcom until you said that, because I didn't remember a Capcom logo in the beginning, but I just may not have been paying attention. And once I started seeing the bad translations, on no, this is a Japanese production. And Japan does have a Disney park, so they're not like, they're not out of the loop as far as that goes.
Right.
But it's the classic English to Japanese translations. It's just bad plural use of words, and it's pretty fun.
It's definitely has its quirks. Well, we should probably talk about what this game is in a moment. Let's actually just kind of get into the deep lore, and just there's a lot to this game. I kid, of course. There's really not much to it.
No.
You play as Disneyland. Now, is this Disneyland? This is the Magic Kingdom. From what I've seen, what I've read, this is it's heavily based on, it's like an amalgamation of all three: Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, and the Tokyo, which was out at the time.
Yeah.
So this is not like, don't expect to follow this map.
See, I always
get around.
As a kid, I know it says Magic Kingdom, which is Orlando, but it definitely looks more like Disneyland because of like the mountain ride, and because it looks more sparse, like the one in California. So I always just assumed as a kid it was Disneyland. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's all three in some sort.
Yeah, so this is not a to scale. Basically, you play as a nameless young lad in a giant oversized cowboy hat. You are standing at the entrance, and the parade is about to begin, where Mickey looks at Goofy and says, "Hey, where's the golden key to the castle?"
Right.
He goes, "Gosh, I don't know." Because why would you leave that dullard with anything? I don't know where it went. And then he leaves it in the castle. That's it. He leaves it in the castle.
Right.
And then Mickey says, "Well, go, dummy, and get it from the castle." And he goes, "Gosh, you need 6 magic keys to get inside the castle. I ain't got those either." In a horrible stereotype. And Mickey looks at you, because Donald Duck is to his right, and Donald Duck's just looking at him like, "Look, this is your problem, Mickey. I ain't got nothing to tell you." He looks at you and says, "You need to get the 6 magic keys and find them." You are then foisted upon a overhead map where you traverse this Disneyland-esque place. Like you said, Bobby, there's 5 different attractions you can go to.
Right.
And there's 6 keys you need to get. The 6th key is a run around the map and answer quiz questions sort of thing. The other 5 attractions are little mini games, basically, based off of rides at a Disney property. And there you go. I did this today. Me and you had actually a long conversation when I was last in Jersey about working from home. And you were like, people kind of waste time a lot of times working from home. And I'm like, yeah, but I spent about half an hour today playing Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. And I may or may not have been on the beginning of a Zoom meeting as I was finishing it up. That may or may not have happened. I did complete this game. I finished it.
Does anyone you work with listen to this?
No, nobody I know listens to this. That's the beautiful thing about this.
Okay.
I was done with my game. Listen, I get an hour for lunch. I used a half an hour of it today to play, and it was just running over. I didn't want to like save state it and go back to it. I mean, honestly, when I say it out, I'm joking. Go ahead.
No, I'm just laughing. It's fair.
No, I am. It was like 3 minutes in. They weren't past the introductions. It's fine.
Many times during Zoom, I'd like to open up a game and just zone out. So
it's fine. It's fine. If anybody I know ever runs across this little tome, you can ding me for my 3 minutes. But anyway, so I got through it in about half an hour. I didn't really use save states. I did just to make my life a little easier, but I really didn't need to. The game has lives. You can get game overs. There's collectibles. There's star collectibles in every single area except for Space Mountain. There's no stars or anything there.
Right.
You can use the stars to get yourself either more health or a 1-up or a couple of abilities in the side-scrolling sections. We'll talk about them. And it's 3 lives, you're done. The continues are very generous. It is 3 lives, you're done. If you lose all your lives and have to continue, you lose all the stars you've collected, but you keep the key you got. So they don't make you start all the way from scratch. That would have been unexcusable. Inexcusable. So Bobby, we can probably go through the different things. What was your favorite attraction though of the 5? We'll kind of start there and then we'll talk about the others.
I think I always like, even playing now, I like the pirate attraction, and we have to save the villagers and then start a fire. I don't know why, that just felt the most like a game. It had a lot, well, like it had like side scrolling and platforming. You have to avoid the other pirates, right? You can't like hit them, right? Except you could push barrels into them.
You can hit in that level. You can push the barrels into the pirates.
Yeah.
If you're skilled enough, you can find a candle. I think you have to find the candle, right?
To start the fire, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have the candle, it's unlimited candle power.
Oh.
So you can just, once you find it, which is about 2/3 of the way through,
right,
you can then use the candle to just start knocking people out left and right. But at the beginning, you're right. You can't. There's no offense other than rolling barrels into these pirates.
Yeah.
The platforming is surprisingly competent.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's surprisingly okay.
Yeah. There's some pretty wide jumps. Sometimes you get really close to the edge, but it's a little stiff, but no, for a game of this kind, it felt pretty good. You can dodge, you can, that's all the things a platformer does. And for the age, it's age appropriate, I think. I've definitely played worse of its type.
I certainly have definitely played worse, for sure. What's interesting about that's the basic idea of the first one. That is based off of I'm assuming Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I'm assuming.
Yeah, my memory's fuzzy.
One would think.
Yeah.
Let's see if it tells us here. Haunted Mansion. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. So that is based off of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And essentially your goal is to collect 6 villagers, like you said, and then light the signal fire to let them know. Not bad. The second platforming level is the Haunted House.
That's fun.
Which is based off of the Haunted Mansion in whatever Disney property we're talking about.
Right.
Similar idea. You are a medium-sized young lad with a large cowboy hat wielding candles. In this stage, though, the candles are finite. It's kind of like a Castlevania where you collect candles, you get more ammo.
Right.
This is pretty cool, too, though.
Yes, it is.
You're going to find a theme here. I don't think this game is all that bad.
No, I don't think so either.
I actually think it's pretty decent for shameless movie Disney tie-in.
Yes.
I don't think it's terrible. You proceed through this haunted mansion. Some of the things are actually kind of creepy. There's like lightning strikes against the background windows. You'll see little faces in there, and you traverse across, your standard complement of crashing chandeliers and floating skull chairs to fight a very easy Spectre boss at the end.
Right.
Pretty straightforward, but not without its challenge. I definitely had to continue a couple times. It wasn't, but I felt like every time I failed, it was my fault. Like I really didn't feel, there was a couple of, in this, especially when you get to the other games, some of them are pretty cheap losses. You just gotta memorize.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was you said you got 4 of the 6 keys or 5?
4. Yeah.
Okay. So what did you fall short in?
The first 2 we just mentioned, I didn't finish those in time.
So you didn't finish the platforming games. Okay. So those are the only 2 that are platforming games.
Right.
The third game we can talk about is Space Mountain.
Right.
You are in a spaceship, and before these ever happen, Mickey Mouse will explain the rules to you,
right,
like what you're supposed to do. And basically it's a memory game, Space Mountain. Mickey will tell you to go up, left, right, or down. to avoid turn through Space Mountain, and you're just like a first person perspective against a star field. And then B or A to shoot either a meteor or an entire starship from Star Wars, evidently.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun though as a memory game.
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
I remember
it's not
liking
easy.
it. I remember liking it as a kid, and yeah, I got pretty frustrated as a kid. Yeah, but I did get through it. And it's kind of funny, even in the early 90s, like there was always like these sort of key command games. Because I'm right now playing a series called the Dark Souls series, or a Dark Soul anthology, and the game's called Man of Medan, and it's just a interactive story with you pick dialogue trees, you pick saying certain things, and actually they collect and it controls your relationships to the other characters. But also there are key command moments. And I was just reminding myself, wow, even almost 25 years later, I'm still just clicking buttons when I'm told to in video games. And
just following prompts, mindless prompts.
And with the Man of Medan, like I'm watching like a movie half the time, and then all of a sudden it tells me to click a button. I'm like, I have to snap out of it. I keep messing it up. And it was the same problem I had with Mickey Mouse. I was like, I'm really trying my best, but I keep spacing out.
It's one of those things where you think you're better than the game.
Yeah,
like I'm better than this child's game, and all of a sudden you're like, I am losing terribly at this child's game.
Old school reflexes, man. It's yeah.
It took me a couple tries.
It's respect, really man. I respect it.
So that was the so Space Mountain, pretty cool. The next one you play in is, again, you can choose these at any way you want. You don't have to do these in any sort of order.
There's no advantage to the order either. It's because you don't collect anything that I'm aware of.
Yep. You don't really. The only thing you collect again are the stars, and again, stars will allow you to get extra lives or an extra hit of power. It's weird. You have to hit select button to get to the little menu. It shows you how many keys you have.
Yes, and then the start button that is a designated pause button for some reason.
Yes. which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. The next one I think I went to was the slot cars, which is the slot cars. The idea is that Pete has your, big old blustery Pete has your key. You gotta beat him in slot cars. This is actually pretty fun. as a mini game, top down spy hunter style games go with no weapons. You just kind of drive a little car. The control is really strange.
Yeah.
In this one though, because A accelerates like any standard game, but if you don't realize, you have to hit up to shift through the gears.
Yeah, you go up to go faster. Yeah,
go faster.
You have to tap it though.
You have to tap it though. So you just tap up 1, 2, 3 to get to one of 3 different speeds. It is really strange.
Yeah, it is. It can get used to. And you have to slow down at times. You have to go down. You have to downshift.
Yes. You have to downshift, or can hit B to brake, but that literally, and you do have a timer.
Yes.
But it's never on screen.
No, it's in the select menu.
It's in the select menu, and actually every game is timed.
Yes.
In the select menu. It's based off of the Autopia ride someplace. It's sure. This game, it does tell you in a manual how to do it, and all these, it tells you the mini games. But when you play the actual game, Mickey Mouse does not tell you how to drive this thing. Mickey Mouse assumes you have the manual. And you have to press up while hitting the A button to shift the gears up and B to brake. That is, and there's a couple of gotchas there too, where you have to, the big one you alluded to is you have to stop completely to let a bridge create.
Bridge create, yeah.
And you will never get it the first try.
Never.
It's impossible. And if you're me, it's 5 tries before you remember it. Like, oh, that's right. That's right.
And you bump into the other cars, you can knock them off the track.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just commit suicide and they just go right off the track. They see you screaming and they're like, forget this. And they just go off to the side.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not bad. This track is full of gaping maws of pits and you have to do these crazy jumps.
Yeah.
I that's a ride at Disneyland. I'm going. That sounds awesome. Like treacherous jumps over gaping pits. Then finally is the Big Thunder Mountain, which is the minecart. Talk about a total guessing game that one is.
Yeah, I kept crashing a few times, but that came back to me like muscle memory. I remembered very quickly how to do it from my
That took me a
childhood.
few try. It took me a
Yeah,
few tries. Yeah.
yeah. But I remember going, hugging the left area, but then not getting too greedy and avoiding the gaps. And yeah, that takes a few tries. And he names the station you have to land at in the beginning. So if you're not really reading the dialogue, you'll land at the wrong station. You have to. Luckily, I picked one and got one, so it's the one towards the left.
Yeah. I was yours one. You were aiming for one? Was that
Yeah.
what I told you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just the ROM we had. I mean, legally obtained version of game that, of course, we just happen to have on our collections. Because it kept just telling me to go to goal 1. And I was very
Yeah.
happy it didn't say goal 2 or 3. 'Cause those are a
Yeah.
royal pain.
Yeah.
1, you just stay left, unless you then hit a dead end, which is, again, complete blind luck. If you don't know it's there,
Yeah.
you are going to run aground.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this game is memory based. And
Yeah.
once you got your 5 keys, you then kind of wander around the park. You talk to people. They ask you questions to prove that you are a friend of the mouse.
Mickey's.
Mickey, some of these questions range from pretty easy to pretty obtuse. One of which being, what state is Dumbo filmed in?
Yeah.
Do you know what state Dumbo was filmed in?
Nope.
I know it's Florida because I got that question right, evidently, after a couple of tries. The game is pretty forgiving, though. If you get it wrong, you just
You just
ask
come back.
again.
Yeah.
Just go back to it and ask again.
But
This is a game. Yeah. Go ahead.
Every random person's like, "Oh, if you're really a friend of Mickey's, and you'd know this," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Mickey and I don't just sit around just hanging, like swapping trivia. We do other things. Like, what is this? What is this trial test? The parade's got to start, don't you? Don't you kids want to see the parade?"
Don't you idiots realize people paid thousands of dollars for this vacation? The parade cannot stop because that idiot dog bungled his way.
Gosh.
Bungled the keys.
You got to ask all Mickey's friends for the key.
And how come, if you're such good friends with Mickey, he's not asking you? How come he didn't come around to the girl with the dog? Hey, the key's around this dog's neck.
How about
What?
Mickey just
Why?
walks up to the first person? "Oh, hi, Mickey. Here's your key." Like,
Yeah, really.
You're not gonna send a friend that they don't trust.
Why did you send a?
Who are these mistrusting people too? What a bizarre park.
What a strange world it is in Disney World. You've never been to? Have you been to any Disney anything?
No, I've never been to Disney anything.
I went to a Disneyland once. Never went to
Yeah.
Disney World. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. I have no
Disneyland-
strong. Yeah.
Disneyland, from what I understand, is not as good as Disney World in Florida, from what I understand. But
that is what I hear. Yes.
but I guess it scratches the itch. If it probably has some merits that I'm not aware of. But
Yeah. I don't know. Would you ever want to go to Disney World?
I get asked that a lot. I don't know why. But,
Wait, hang on a second. How come? Wait, you get asked this question a lot.
well, I guess people know I haven't been. You know, like, do you want to go? They ask, and I'm like, well, as a kid, yeah, I loved it as a kid. As a grown adult, not so much. I'm not that interested,
know.
honestly. If I went with like my nephew, your son, and I went with like young children, like then that could be like a family thing. But there's grown adults who go to Disney World and they're all about it. I am not one of those people. I also think if I went as a kid, I'd probably have more of an affinity for it, but I have no connection to any of it. So, oh well. But I've been to other theme parks as a kid and I have no real desire to go back either. So
Yeah, I like theme parks though, like roller coasters and such are fun, but it really is something I don't think I would do on my own anymore. I'd always said to myself, I'd like to go to Disney World as like an adult to like appreciate it without kids.
Yeah.
But now that I'm an adult, I don't think I want to go as an adult.
No.
And and my kids, I would like to go once with Will, but they better remember it. Like they have to be of the age where they remember, because it's thousands upon thousands of dollars to get into the door. Yeah. Of course, if I'm going to go to Disney World, I'm going to get I want a suite at the castle. I want to fast pass this, and I'm going to spend just out the ears for out the mouse ears for this vacation. Those damn kids better remember it. So my son, who is 7, my daughter is 2. My daughter is not going to remember it.
No.
So there's no way I'm paying for my daughter to go to Orlando.
No.
That's not happening. So by the time she's old enough to remember, I'm wondering if my son's going to be too old to care. He'll be like 30. He'll be like, if my daughter is like 7, my son will be 11 or 12. He might be already aging out of it. So I don't know if we're ever going to go.
Yeah, before he hits his teenage years. Yeah, you gotta sneak in there. But like, even though we forget now that like Disney has like Marvel stuff now and
That's true.
Star Wars. So there's probably
yeah.
more stuff for teenagers now than ever before. In our day, it was teacups and, Epcot
Right.
Center. But they have more properties now for sure. And of course, there's like Universal Studios, which is around there. It's a whole plot of land. You can spend a whole week there for sure. I have a former coworker of mine who lives in the Orlando area, and he's always like poking me, like, "Hey, you gotta get down here, man. I got a place for you to stay." And as like a selling point, like, "Yeah, we'll go to Disney World. We'll go to Disney World together." And I'm like, why would I want to go? Why would 2 grown men want to go to Disney World together? That's not a sell. I go, are we gonna wear the hats and like hold hands? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. That's a terrible sell. Like, maybe want to go less.
I've always liked to say that Orlando, I've only been to Orlando once. I may have said this to you, I can't remember, but Orlando feels like to me that if aliens came down and abducted the human race and wanted to make us pleasure pods based on what they know of our society, they would make us Orlando. Orlando's what they would make. They'd make palm trees, balmy weather, rides, chain restaurants. Mm-hmm. That's what they would make Orlando. Seriously, I think that is what they would make the pod people like. Here, this is how we're going to keep our newly captured human race satiated and satisfied. We will make them Orlando.
A lot of convention centers too, so we can swap out conventions.
Tons of conventions.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there for something. So I was there for some
work,
convention.
Right?
I was at the convention center.
Yeah, there you go.
Some convention.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. The fun about these sort of things, the fun about things like Disney is seeing it through a kid's eyes or experiencing it with a kid.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. Like,
if I went with Will and all of you, like, that would be super fun. But by myself or with my former colleague, no interest at all.
No.
In fact, he pitched that to me like a selling point. I'm like, no, now I'm turning in my ticket. I don't want to go. This bugged me. I don't know why. We'll ride the teacups with my...
No. Hey, we'll go on the Dumbo ride up and down.
Did you ever see that? You ever see the... I think it's teacups, or maybe it was a roller coaster. You ever see that picture of Billy Corgan and the teacups?
Yes. No, it's like a roller coaster.
Oh, it's a roller coaster. Okay.
Little janky, like minecart style roller coasters.
Yeah, that's what it is. And he's
sad Billy Corgan on a roller coaster.
It was a meme for a while. Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was very good.
He addressed it on a podcast. He thought he's like, I've seen it. It's very funny. I was having a very bad day that day. I think my agent thought it would cheer me up, and it didn't.
It did not.
He's like, I'm not like that all the time. You just happen to catch me.
It's a very good joke, though. It's a very,
very
funny
good
joke.
The guy who wrote, Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, and like that's him on a roller coaster. It's pretty funny.
Infinitely dour on a roller coaster. I love it. I don't know. Disney World's not. I don't know. Again, I'd like to go with the kids, but it's so expensive. And I know people who've gone recently, and he went with the same thought I did. Was like, I want to enjoy this with the kids. I want to make memories with the kids. Right? Cool. That's the whole goal. And he's like, I spend most of my time staring at my phone, trying to figure out where to go, what rides I'm reserving, when my reservation times are. He's like, it's just so much stress to go to Disney World because you have to game the system. Have you ever seen the episode of Defunctland with the lines?
The lines. Like
he just talks about
like the way like the lines like evolved over time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was That was great.
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's an if you haven't seen it, fairy listeners, it's the website or the YouTube channel is Defunct Land. I don't remember the name of the episode, but it's an hour-and-a-half documentary about the science of queuing in lines.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the most boring thing in the world. It's fascinating.
It's really interesting.
It's fascinating. It's all centers around Disney World and how Disney, over the years, tried to solve the line problem. And it just goes places. It's so it's fascinating. As a matter of fact, after this recording, I'm going to go to my wife, James, you want to watch a documentary about lines? I will sit there for another hour and a half and just watch that thing about lines. It's fascinating. So if you haven't listened to it or seen it, I recommend it.
We recently went to, when I was in Texas, we went to a water park, and I rode on the tube slide with Will. And but we had to wait on a line, and I haven't done that in a while. I forgot, and one thing about our father, he hated sitting on lines. He wouldn't go to Six Flags with us. He just could not stand sitting on a line for like an hour like that. And now, as a 37-year-old man myself, I might have inherited a little bit of that. I got on that line, and it was a little bit like torture. I'm waiting this long to go on I'm repeating what he would say. I'm waiting on this long to go on a 2-minute ride. Like, just really bugging me.
Wow.
It was really bugging me. I was like,
that's, why would I wait so long to go on a 3-minute ride? I had more patience. Yeah, I don't know. When on that trip to Typhoon, Texas, I almost sprung for the fast passes, because you can get fast passes and go into the faster line. I didn't. It was expensive enough as it was.
Well, considering we only went on one slide with Will, we wouldn't.
That's kind of what it was, right?
Yeah. So
everything else you could just walked on. So
I guess it would have helped if they put some TVs in the corners to stare at. That was the old Six Flags trick. They would have some screens to look at least. This was before cell phones, though. How crazy.
I know, right? Back in my day, they had televisions.
Yeah. But you can't go on a water slide with a cell phone anyway, so it's like...
Exactly. So you're just stuck there.
Just sit there.
Feet are hot. I don't know.
They put a fashionable tent over it, so it wasn't in direct sunlight.
They fashioned a tent over it. But yeah, no, waiting in lines, I used to not mind an hour. Yeah. No problem.
Oh, yeah. As a kid? No, the anticipation was...
Yeah, you sit there bouncing around.
Yeah.
Just wanted to take a quick moment to thank my wonderful patrons for their everlasting and ongoing, patronage. Starting first with Terry Kinnair, followed by Games with Coffee, the Let's Play Princess, Tim Knowles of Deletus, Seth Sergil of the All In Podcast, Ryan Payne of Gamers Week, Greg Sewart of the Player One Podcast and Generation 16 series of videos, Patrice Millette, BT Goebbels, Nerds Without Pants' very own Julian, Dan of Retrologic, and finally the one and only Pete Harney. If you'd like to learn more about this Patreon and get in on some of the goodies that we're cooking up over here, go to patreon.com/agamerlooks4040, observe the tiers, and make a decision today. And even if you don't, thank you so much for listening to A Gamer Looks at 40 and just enjoying and being a part of the show. Thanks so much. Let's get back to the episode. So, Bobby, you said you may have seen this in Nintendo Power. And that was what inspired you. Well, there are 2 mentions of this game in Nintendo Power. First one is in issue 9, which is the November-December 1989 edition. Now, I don't think I did have this one, I think. Yes, this was the one that had Tetris on the cover.
Oh, wow.
And it is in the Pack Watch section, which was like the coming soon section.
Right.
In the Gossip Galore section.
Wow.
So there's no screenshots.
Okay.
There's no other identifying markers of this.
Okay.
It is in the same section, Pack Watch, as Super Mario Bros. 3.
Wow.
Hot news. It's been rumored that Mario and Luigi will be back with a new adventure for the NES, and now it's official.
Wow. That is big news.
Super Mario Bros. 3, which is already a hit for the Play Choice, Nintendo's arcade system, will make its NES debut in 1990. So in the same issue as that hot Pack Watch, we have a little blurb that combines both Adventures in the Magic Kingdom and the California Raisins game. So it didn't even get its own pink box in the Gossip Galore section of the November-December 1989 Nintendo Power. I'll read it very quickly. Capcom is putting out some fantastic games lately, and it looks like they could continue that trend in 1990.
Yes.
We've come across a few more details on new Capcom titles that we've mentioned before. Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, which was formerly announced as Adventures in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That makes
Should be
sense.
out by the middle. Should be out by the middle of next year. It's a journey through the Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and other Disneyland attractions. Oh, talk about standing on the shoulders of giants. If it follows in the footsteps of Mega Man 2 and DuckTales,
I was just thinking that.
this one is sure to have great graphics and maybe a built-in stage select.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, kinda.
Yeah.
So they didn't even have screenshots on this. They had somebody at Capcom give them a call. Hey,
I got a scoop. See.
yeah, extra. Read all about it.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Magic Kingdom.
I was just thinking, like, Capcom's been making some great games lately. Mega Man. What else did they do? Well, Street Fighter wasn't out yet.
No, Street Fighter. Well, if you look at the manual for Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, page 3 and page 5 are advertisements for better Disney Nintendo games like Chip 'n Dale Rescue Ranger and DuckTales. Both of those games are miles better than this.
DuckTales was good. Yeah.
DuckTales is great.
Yeah. That was a
Stone
game.
Cold classic. We never owned it, but never owned it.
Yeah, I think our cousin Kevin had it. I'm pretty sure.
I borrowed it a few times from
that might have
friends
been
at
it
school.
then. Yeah. Was there a second article you said?
Well, yes, there is. And so then it got its big premiere. So when it was released, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, it was written up in Nintendo Power issue number 14, which was the July-August of 1990 edition. Remember, back in those days, Nintendo Power was bi-monthly. It was not a monthly magazine. It was bi-monthly. So you got 6 issues a year. That changed, I think, in 91, where it then went to every month you got a new Nintendo Power. It's in the video shorts section, so it does not have a full article.
Right.
It has a little write up on it.
Yeah, it was a short write up. Yeah, go ahead.
A short write up. I would read it, but it's not interesting because it's literally, it's just the driest description of what this game is.
Is there a screen capture?
There are a few screen captures, and there's actually a map of the entire park.
Oh, it's bigger than I remember.
This one little. Yeah, it takes up maybe 2/3 of one page of this video short section.
Yeah.
So enough room for a map, and it tells you the things you're going to do. Again, I would read it, but it's not it's literally just the driest. They got the intern to do this one. They did not put their heart and soul into writing up Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, unfortunately. The one thing I did want to mention about the game, though, just kind of bringing the train back on the minecart track.
Oh boy.
The music is really freaking good in this game.
Yeah.
The music is really good.
The pirate stage it slaps.
All the music is good in this game.
It's good. Yeah.
I was taken aback, and I was reminded as I was playing this. I remember when I first thought about this game, it's like, oh, Bobby and I should talk about this game. So I was reminded of a conversation I had with Andrew Craig, who's been on the show a lot. He's a huge Zelda fan, was a lot on the show early on. And we talked about this game on the show. And he said that the soundtrack is incredible. I asked him, like, hey, what's a Nintendo game you had that ran that no one talks about? He's like, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, wow.
And I said, hold my beer, my man, because I know that game well. And we were kind of reminiscing, and he's like, it's not a bad game. His voice in my head said, the music's really good. As I'm listening to him, like, he's freaking right. The music is really good in this game. It's really good. The pirates of the theme is good. Great. It slaps, as the kids say. As you said, sir.
It totally. I was bopping my head. I'm like, this is doing it.
It's a series of bops, not a vibe among them. Just bops. Yeah. Anything else to say about Adventures in the Magic Kingdom?
It's just I had a feeling I'd still like it because I played it a lot as a kid. When we had a game as a kid, even if we beat it quickly, we'd play it over and over because. We didn't have like infinite, games at our fingertips like you do today. You had a cartridge, you were stuck with it till Christmas or your next birthday, even if you wanted a game, when that came up. So, and cartridges were expensive. So,
yeah.
I remember playing this game a lot and legitimately liking it. And it shockingly holds up, It's not perfect. It's a little stiff and a little clunky in spots, but really for a game of this type, like a corporate cash-in.
Using our metric, you would bring it home and not leave it in the bin?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, because there was another Mickey and Minnie game that we also had. We talked about it, right? That was one of our episodes.
Yes, we talked about Mickey's Mousecapade. Yes.
That's the other end of the spectrum with this, where a game
that's trash.
Is so crummy it just doesn't even try. And so
absolute.
This is It even has for a young kid as like I want to say JRPG, but like you collect stars and you can like level up you can get abilities, and it has like little menu selection, and it has like a little bit of an open world feel. Like it kind of feels like Final Fantasy. It's not, but it it has like that the game select screen is kind of feels like that, and
yeah, it
got uses a lot of familiar elements to like its advantage, but for an appropriate audience. I give it credit for what
you could do a lot worse.
Oh yes,
I think we've done on this show a lot worse.
Yes, sir.
Than this game.
Yes,
I would definitely take it home as well. I had a good time. This is one of those I'm going to throw on the old Steam Deck because this is rolling through that little slot car game if you have 10 minutes to kill, or sitting in a dentist's office waiting to go in, 20 minutes to burn. I'd burn some time on this, and I'm probably going to jam out to the music tomorrow during work, while I'm getting stuff done. Jam out to the soundtrack. All right. Well, yeah, I agree. I think this is a good game. I think it's worth taking a roll around. And again, if you dedicate the time, I got through it, like I said, in a half an hour. And a lot of it became muscle memory as well. Especially Space Mountain. I'm like, I'm going to go up, down, left. Oh my God, I can't remember. I remember this. I can't remember.
So you beat the whole game in a half hour?
Yeah, about half an hour.
Wow. I didn't. I played for about an hour. I didn't finish it. I feel silly.
That's it. Then there's no easy mode, kid.
No.
That's it. Get to it. And just be aware, the ending is not worth it. It's literally a 5-second... hooray, the parade can start. And you know what? They don't even start the parade. You don't even see a parade.
No.
That's a sham. That's it.
There's like there's a graphic of them saying thank you, right? Like
yes, there's a graphic. It says end.
End.
It's one of those that just says end. It doesn't say the end. It just says end. If you look at the final screenshot of the ending, I guess the final ending card, I don't know what you would call it, ending screen. Your character, who throughout the entire game is clad all in like a burnt orange. He's got his signature burnt orange cowboy hat, but he's wearing like a red shirt and black short pants, and he's kind of got his hips thrust out oddly. Like he's got like his hands on his hips, like hey, and he's got this real sly grin on. Very unsettling end to a fun game.
Strange graphic. I kind of remember that. I think he's supposed to be proud, but yeah, it's very weird.
Yes. But I know he's trying to do. What he achieves is totally different. That's the different side of it. I feel bad. People love Disney World.
Oh yeah,
and it canceled over calling Disney World.
No,
we don't want to visit as adults.
To those who love Disney World, we mean no harm. We
truly mean no harm.
I'm more ill-informed. I've never been, so it's really
exactly.
If I went as a child, then I'd have be singing a different tune. But question: Is Petey the dog Irish?
No.
Oh.
No. So my son, we can actually do this, and I'll just cut it in somewhere here. So my son, he he, for a little bit, was watching Mickey and the Roadster Racers,
Right.
which is the worst kids trash you could possibly shove into a child's nose. It's like cocaine for kids.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
yelling,
But
and
that's
screaming.
I gotta say that
and
Sonic
noise.
show on Netflix is pretty bad.
My son has been watching. Did he show you Sonic Boom on Netflix?
I watched like 3 episodes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You did watch 3 episodes with him. Okay. Yeah, it's nothing but loud shouting and yelling and screaming.
And weird,
But he loves it.
weirdly bad attempts at snarky humor. Like it's like that goes over a kid's head.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Sonic Boom's not great. I gotta my games with Coffee, who's the biggest Sonic fan I know. I apologize in advance if you like Sonic Boom. There's like 8 different Sonic cartoons you can watch. There's evidently really good ones. Anyway,
Sure.
so he's watching Disney Mickey Mouse and the Roadster Racers,
Right.
and again, it's just trash. And Pete does not have an Irish accent.
Oh.
He is just a big lumbering buffoon, like you would imagine a Pete to be.
Yeah.
So he is not coded as Irish, just
Well-
coded as yelling.
Well, because
Always.
in like the video game, he's like, you beat me. Here's your key, and I'm like, the way it was written, it was like kind of like either a pirate or he's Irish, and I was like, and then I kind of vaguely remember a Goofy movie, and from the early '90s with Pauly Shore. Do you remember that film?
I vaguely do.
Yeah, Goofy movie in the mid '90s. My '90s peeps are grinning right now, but he does. Goofy goes to Pete for like advice, or Pete gives him advice unsolicited. I forget which, but I kind of remember him sounding Irish, and I'm like, is he like a scheming Irishman? I don't know. I gotta look into this. They probably wouldn't do that anymore, but I just thought I'd ask.
It's probably not. No, that sounds like that sounds 1940s Disney. That's not quite, yeah.
Oh, he's an Irishman, and you can't trust him. He's scheming. That's right.
But did Brendan Gleeson do the voice of Petey in that?
I wish.
Imagine that. Oh man. Just okay. We will stop. This will just be for us. Speaking of old Disney, they're starting to release these old Disney cartoons on Disney Plus.
Oh, sure.
And we stumbled across the dancing skeleton, the skeleton dance.
I've seen that.
1929.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Well, it's on Disney Plus now in
Awesome.
4K.
Probably in way better quality. Yeah.
It's actually in watching it from just like a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
Like people actually drew these things by hand.
No kidding.
In 1929, it's a marvel.
Yeah.
It's also creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Today, Will, Daddy, can we watch a skeleton dance? I'm like, really? You want to watch this damn thing from 1929? But you know what? Quality holds up.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I think we have driven this. I think we've driven this slot car into the ground. So let's take this one home. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Tales from the Bargain Bin. If you enjoyed this episode, you have discerning taste, and I have 16 or so other episodes out there for you. In addition to 82 as of this recording, 81, 82 mainline episodes of A Gamer Looks at 40. So there's lots of stuff there. Just when you're on those long road trips for summer vacation, pop this on, cruise down the highway to the sultry sounds of A Gamer Looks at 40 and Tales from the Bargain Bin. If you haven't done so already, Twitter is where I do most of my social media. A Gamer Looks at 4040. Linktree in the bio. All the stuff you'll need is there for your listening and clicking and sharing enjoyment. Thanks again for checking out the show, and until next time, just be more like Mickey, I guess. I suppose. Thanks a lot, y'all. Have a good one.